What's up, my fellow developers, and welcome back to the Dev Shop. So today we're going to kind of pick up where we left off with the survival HUD to pretty much finish up our survival mini series. Real quick before we get started, if you haven't already, check out our Discord. We are a growing community over there who talk about game development. We have a focus on Lumberyard, obviously, but there are sections for Unity, Unreal. As most of you know, I have experience in those engines as well. So just over there trying to build a community, guys, and if you want to reach out at different times of the day, that's the best way to reach me and to meet other developers using the same engine or developers in general. All right, let's take a look at what we're going to be building today. So when I hit play, you'll see I have my character. You see that I have my already built HUD. I kind of rearranged it and fixed it up a little bit. When we walk towards our box, you'll see I get a harvest icon at the bottom. Scrolls down, disappears, and it gives us 4 harvested items. All right, let's take a look at how I did that. So as you can see, I have my game manager already. It's set up the exact same way as the survival HUD tutorial. Let's open up our HUD. And as you can see, I have 2 new items, actually 3. Our harvesting bar. So if I enable that, you'll see it's just a slider bar that I actually copied from the hunger bar and made my adjustments with the text and the color and the size. And then I added 2 text items over here, one for the counter, which is starting at 0, and then a header which just spells out the harvested item for the visuals. All right, manipulating the UI, at least in this sense, should be familiar to you guys if you have watched my other videos, namely the UI communication in the previous survival HUD tutorial. All right, we're not going to look into it now, but be sure that you click on the empty area over here. And you already have one for health, which is this empty one here. You should have one for track hunger. You should have one for track thirst, and you should have a new one that you add that we call harvest progress. And we will go over that in 1 second. So let's go ahead and close that. All right, and our new item is the harvestable rock. And it's set up very similarly to any other trigger area that we have done in the past. So it basically has a mesh. We gave it a trigger area, and we have a box shape, of course. And you can kind of rearrange that how you want so it looks more visually appealing, but this works because all we have to do is cross over into the box. And then we have a Lua script called Harvestable. So let's go ahead and open that up. All right. So first things first, we have our script set up the way we set it up. All right. So for our properties, we just have name, time to harvest, inventory amount. All right. In our on activate, we have a few things actually. We are setting up a variable for the trigger area that we placed on the harvestable object. So we have a trigger area notification bus that we're connecting to. And of course, it takes a few parameters, self and self.entityID. That is what's actually going to give us the on trigger area entered here. And then we have 2 events. So as always, pause the video if you need to. You guys should be more familiar with gameplay notification buses and IDs by now if you've been following me for a while, or even if you've seen the last 2 videos or so. So the first ID that we set up is for the update UI. We're sending a float, and this is going to handle our harvested item number, the 0 in the right hand corner, when we actually harvest any item. That is representing our inventory at the moment. And then we have another ID that we set up that is for the progress bar. That's also sending out a float. And then we have a bool called can harvest. All right, and now since we did set up the trigger notification bus, let's look at that real quick. and that's here. So make sure you create a function named after your script. So harvest, we have harvest, and then the event is going to be on trigger area entered, which means whenever anything enters this trigger. So what I'm doing here is actually calling a custom function that I set up down here. So to call a custom function inside of Lua, we need to call self first, so we know that we're talking about this table that we are in, and then start tracking, or whatever you want to name it that makes it identify with the function that you're creating. And for our purposes, what we're doing now, if we look at that function, is that we are creating a variable for the tick bus and connecting to it. So we have tickbus.connect. That should also be familiar to you guys. And then we're setting can harvest to true. I did it this way because I didn't want to connect to the tick bus in the on activate for no reason. I wanted to connect to it whenever we enter the trigger so that we're being efficient when we're connecting and disconnecting from the tick bus. All right, so once that starts, then we have access to our on tick event here. And inside of that, that's where the meat is. So the time to harvest, which is the variable that we set up here, is going to basically represent the seconds that it takes to harvest that item. It's also going to coincide with the value that the harvest bar is set at. So of course, in Lua, to subtract a variable from itself, you need to do, in our case, time.harvest equals time.harvest minus delta time. It's going to start subtracting each frame, or each second rather. After we've done that, we want to call the on event updating. You guys should be familiar with on event begin. This one is a more per frame, or sorry, every frame call, just like on tick. So it needs to be done inside of the on tick function. So basically what we're saying is that if the can harvest is true, which it is once you enter the trigger area, we want to continuously send out to this ID another float. In this case, I'm actually just sending the delta time, which would give me access to it inside of the UI instead of calling like on tick again inside of there. All right, and then the last part of the on tick is that once the time to harvest equals 0, we want to delete the object. Then we want to send our inventory amount via this ID that we set up in the on activate. And then we want to set can harvest to false, which will stop this event from being called out. And then in the future, you guys can do things like playing a sound, maybe adding some kind of particle effect, things like that. All right, and then of course in our on deactivate, we need to disconnect from the tick bus. When you're not calling the tick bus or actually any event inside of the on activate, you want to run a check to see if that variable exists before it deactivates or disconnects from it. So since we didn't call the tick bus in the on activate, we actually did it through a function. We want to first see if the tick bus var is not equal to nil, which means that it's active. If it is, then we can disconnect and set it to nil. All right, once you have that, don't forget to save it. Make sure that you're setting your values down here below. I am really sorry about the activate windows that's blocking. I keep forgetting about that. I will take care of that soon, I promise. All right, so our inventory amount we have set to 4. Our name, I just called it rock, and our time to harvest I set to 5. Make sure you set these values in the inspector. All right, once you have that, let's go over to our game manager. Let's open up our HUD, and let's actually open up our harvest progress script that's actually on the HUD. All right, so same thing, same setup. In our properties, we have 2. We have a temp inventory counter, which I call it temp because you guys know we don't actually have an inventory. It's just, that's what's in place right now. And that's going to be our 0 number in the bottom right corner. and then we have a progress harvest UI, which is our harvesting bar that counts down. So go ahead and create those two. Inside of our on activate, we have two events that we're connecting to that we set up in the harvestable script for the update UI and the progress harvest. So this is basically the one for our 0 number and for our progress bar. So make sure that you're connecting to those, and make sure, as always, that these right here, the IDs, specifically this part here, is matching exactly what it is when you're sending the event. So now that we are connected to the gameplay notification bus, we can now call the on event begin and the on event updating from the function events that we were sending from the harvestable script. So let's look at the on event begin, and that one is basically just setting the text of our inventory counter, which is the 0 number in the bottom right corner, to the data that we sent through, that we passed through, which is the inventory amount to add, which is the inventory amount number. And then since it is a number that we're sending, we want to convert that to a toString so we can read it within that text item, which is right here, the set text. So that's very simple. That one's done. The progress UI, a little bit more work to be done. So first thing we want to do is create a local variable. Take note that a local variable that's within a certain scope does not require self. It does not need to be self dot then the variable. We just call the local and the variable name. What we're doing here is getting the value of our progress harvest UI. So if you are familiar with the previous videos, when you set a progress bar, you have a min and max value, and then you have the value itself, what you want it to start at, which is usually 100. This is actually going to be set at the same value as our time to harvest, which in this case is 5. This can be done in a more modular way, but I was trying to minimize the amount of messages being sent between the scripts, especially for this tutorial. All right, and now we have the counter. So what we're doing is taking this value that's set to the counter, and we're basically saying the counter minus the data UI, which for us, remember, I sent through the delta time. So the counter is basically subtracting the frame data each second, and that's going to give us our countdown effect. So as you can see here, we have a couple of conditionals. So for the counter, if it's greater than 0, so what we're doing here is we're setting the harvest progress bar to enabled while the counter is above 0. That's this guy here. And then we are setting the value of the progress bar to the counter, which is counting down each second. And in our case, from 5, so roughly 5 seconds to harvest an item. We have an else if counter is less than 0, should probably be less than equal. Less than or equal to 0, we're going to set the harvest bar back to disabled. We're setting it to false here. All right, and that is basically how you create a harvesting item in Lumberyard. And don't forget your on deactivate. I'm sorry in case you guys need to see this again. And don't forget your on deactivate. Since we did everything in the on activate, we can just directly disconnect because we know that it's live from the notify handler and also the progress handler, which I forgot to put that in. So let me add that one real quick. All right, don't forget to save that, close that. Make sure that you set those two in the inspector for your UI so that it knows what to read from. So your UI counter here and your progress bar, make sure that you guys have that set there. And once you do, You hit play, and actually I did enable that, so sorry, let me disable that. Once you hit play, you see that the bar is gone. You're set at zero for your harvested items. Let's move towards our rock. Start harvesting. And now we have 4 harvested rock. Very cool. Very simple, actually. Still in the realm of the simple. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, enjoyed the tutorial. If you have any questions or comments, let me know down below. Other than that, I hope you guys are having a very dope day. Hope you guys are prospering in your projects. And until next time, keep developing.